Okay, I got my Saito crankshaft bearings here in the crankcase. I'm going to put the front bearing in first. First I need to heat this case up real good. And I also need my UGG glove. Okay. Next, I always install the crankshaft or the bearing onto the crankshaft and then heat everything up. Put this block on here. So I've got a spot to support the crankshaft and that bearing that was just put in there. Drop that in place like that, and I use a 3/4 inch drive adapter to push this in place now. And that looks like that's it. Bearings installed. Good morning. Hey Steve, this is your Saito FA-82A engine, or B engine, I'm sorry, this is a B. All the parts are cleaned up, ready for reassembly, and that's what I'm about to start doing. So I don't know that I necessarily need to show each and every one of these parts and how clean it is. Most of that will be seen in the reassembly. I know some of these parts you didn't get to see as I took them out, and didn't see the carbon on them. But I think I'm going to start with the head, because the head requires the valves, or the valves and the valve springs to be installed. So I'm going to do that first, but I think I'm just going to kind of move all this stuff off to the side, put another little piece of paper towel here to work over. I'll tell you, one of the things that's always kind of a frightening thing is when you're starting to look through your bin of parts of all these engines and you don't see these two little C-clips. It's like, where are they? I know they're in there. They've got to be in there somewhere, but you don't see them. But they appear. So the first thing I'm going to do here is probably lube all these things up yet again. And I'm going to be using Ballistol. I kind of like this stuff. This particular one is an aerosol, and I don't care for the aerosol, so I've ordered some that's just a lubricant. So I'm just going to kind of liberally spray things with this. Not liberally, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff. Let's see here. This is the exhaust valve, so it goes in this side. Now, here's my little trick. I use a magnet. Maybe I can zoom in a bit more here. I use a magnet to insert these things. The kicker is trying to get it to come off. I just kind of pull it off to the side. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing it in screen. Okay, so they're in there. Now what I do is I shove a piece of paper towel up in there to hold them from dropping as I apply a little bit of pressure to it. Don't have, I forgot to grab, I got most of my tools out and then I forgot to get this little guy and this little guy. Might need this too, you never know. I'll get my head magnifier on. Yeah, I think I would like to alter the angle of this camera just a hair so I can actually work right here. I think that'll work out. It'll be a little bit more comfortable for me to be working there. Okay. So I've got the keeper, the retainer, or the top part of the spring on there already. So what I'm going to do here is just very carefully finagle that on there. And then you just do that. That first one on, it made me look like a pro. Is this one depressing? Feels like it might be depressing a little bit. Shove that paper towel up there some more. And if you drop it in there, you use your magnet to grab it. There we go. There we go. Okay. Take that out. All the valves are installed. And just for the heck of it, let's... So what happens with this is it looks like white foam, but then the foam and the aerosol dissipate and it just leaves this nice oil. So I'm not going to put the rocker arms on until the head is installed. So I can put the push rods on. So what's our next order of operations here? Probably head installation. So I kind of like to do this when I'm pulling out parts to inventory them. Make sure I've got everything. I just pull all the screws out. Run them in lightly where they go. It makes things a lot easier and more comfortable when you know where all the screws are. These cover screws I'll just take out and put over here by the cover. Okay, so I need the piston. Let's give it a... Since that... Let's get that all nice and lubed up. So there is an orientation here for this. This side is the chamfered. Now this is not a bushed connecting rod, but this side is chamfered. This side is not. This side faces the prop. So when I install this, it really doesn't matter. I just depress my, and then I just simply rotate it to the direction it needs to be for the forward facing. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not doing this next. Before I do that, what I need to do is time the engine, which means, let's put all this stuff over here. I need to assemble my timing case. So let's get the timing cover, timing gear. There's two little washer thingies, whatever you want to call them, and the tappets. And now I'm going to need a different bit here. See how this is going to work. That one's not going to work. I'm going to have to go and find my other screwdriver that allows me to set the timing of this. It's just a Phillips. Okay, I'm back. I found my screwdriver. This is a screwdriver that I've had for many years. And it's basically, I don't know where I got it. Sensodyne. It's just got a magnet on one end, and the shaft is just the right size, and the point is just right to fit down in here in the intake side and set the timing. So what I've got to do first here is give all those things a little bit of a squirt. I need my center shaft too. And we're just gonna, these little, in the past, the ancient past, these things were Teflon discs. Now they're metal. Now this has an orientation mark or a cutout in it so that it goes in this side like this, and that set screw holds it in place. So this one is not gonna get that thing lined up. That's where I need the pick. Get that thing lined up. Did I run that screw down? I don't think I did. That thing should be sliding right in there. I must not have it lined up somehow here. There we go. Now we can just run that thing, set the screw down to hold it in place. And there we go. So here on this side is the timing mark. See that timing dot? That's going to coincide with a hole here, such that when that's engaged, it doesn't move. I've got this headlight on my head, and it's putting a glare on the screen. So I got the cam followers here, so I'm only going to insert the one cam follower in the exhaust because I need this one to be open for now. And okay, I'm glad I caught that in time. Battery is just about was running out. So I didn't need to get a rubber band. I was thinking of larger size engines. So all I need to do here is I've lubed all this stuff up into, I don't know if with this B version, if it's easier to put this on here now. I'm just going to set this in place. Now, no timing is set at this point. What I want to do is I want to set this at top dead center. So the crankshaft. So what I've done here is I've inserted this so that it's in that hole. And now I'm just going to set this at top dead center and drop this in place. So that now that's at top dead center. And it's timed. All we do now is start running some fasteners in. Where'd you go, Sasha? I just happened to notice I went to go put the new battery in the camera, and my Sasha girl was come out from her nap, was laying under the table with her belly exposed, wanting to play. And of course I've got a table full of parts. Okay, so I'm just running those down. So now I'm going to just spin this thing and just drop this in here and see. There we go, it dropped into place. Engine is timed properly. So now I'll just snug these down. Drop this last cam follower in here. They do have an orientation, a flat side and a dimpled side. Dimpled side goes up, obviously. And boom, we're done. Put these little boot things on here. Okay, now we're ready for the head to go on here. And as I said earlier, I've got the chamfered side facing out. So I'm just going to slide this in place. Put the head on like that. Now, maybe should have put these things up in there first. This is the upper pushrod boot thing. This is one of those things where I think I normally maybe just put these things in here like this. And then just kind of do a little finagle here where do one of these things, lower it down into place such that these are engaging where they're supposed to. So the head's down all the way. Now I'll just get a couple of these screws. Just gonna run that one down pretty far. Hold this thing in place. Now, many people might be wondering about torque on these screws, on any fastener. And what I have found that works best for me is if I'm going to use an L wrench to torque with, sometimes I'll torque with this side, but what I like to do is I can torque it down and as tight as I go before it starts to really hurt my finger. That's good. When I start to feel real pressure on my finger, it's tight, and that's the way it should be. These I torqued with the L side, and they're already tight, so we're good there. Alright, so push rod installations. Push rods. They are tapered, they are not symmetrical. One end is tapered, one end is more rounded. The rounded end, the tapered end goes towards the rocker arm and engages in the cup in the rocker arm. Now, as I said when I was disassembling this engine, you don't ever torque these things. Push it in till it's aligned, and just lightly screw it in until it's flush, and that's it. Make sure I'm engaged in my push rod. Okay, there we go. Rocker arms installed. I'm not going to put the rocker covers on because they'll need to be timed. I could slide this tapered collar on, put this on there, I suppose. Now the only parts I didn't have out here was the prop nut and washer, which I can go ahead and throw on here now and hold those things in place. Obviously this isn't going to get tight until you put a prop on it. Okay, rear cover. Boy, I hope the heck I've been keeping this in frame here. I moved the camera and then I kind of forgot about that. I'm looking more at the engine than I'm looking at my little LCD screen. Obviously it's got zero compression right now because A, I don't have a glow plug in it. So it will never have compression without that. I just want to put these rockers in a neutral position. Is it at top dead center? I don't know. Let's put our carb on. This is already lubed up. Should be. Okay, so this is pretty much it. I don't think I'm going to show any more of the rocker arm or the valve lash being set because I just did that. Did a nice long complicated video on a valve lash being set on a 240 Pegasus engine. And I've shown valve lash setting on Saito engines many times before and it doesn't change. So that's pretty much it for the reassembly of your engine, Steve.